It's 4:07 in the morning. The house is dark, and then it starts. That long, flat, open-mouthed howl from the bottom of the stairs. Not a meow, a cry. You lie there with your heart pounding, counting the hours left before your alarm, and then you get up because you always get up. You are exhausted. And the internet keeps telling you your senior cat is just old and that there is nothing to be done. But what if I told you the answer is already in your kitchen, not in the pantry, not in the refrigerator, but in the food already on your shelf and the hour you serve it? Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Sarah Lane, your neighborhood veterinarian, and night crying in older cats is one of the most common calls I take and one of the most misread. Here is the number that reframes it. Veterinary medicine now calls a cat senior at over 10 years old, and past 12, joint disease turns up in as many as 74% of them. If that is your house at 4 in the morning, take 2 seconds right now and hit subscribe so this one does not get lost on you tonight. Your cat is not being dramatic. Something changed. So take a breath and drop the guilt at the door. You are not doing anything wrong. But ignoring this is not an option either, because a cat who cries all night is often a cat in pain, losing weight, or losing her sight, while the whole household quietly falls apart around her. Grab a pen and a notebook. This is a 5-step masterclass told in 7 short named chapters, counting down to the one change that finally ends the 4 a.m. screaming. And along the way, I will name the one thing almost every exhausted owner does at 3 in the morning that makes the crying louder. Chapter 1: The Invisible Enemy. Number 5 on the countdown is the rule out log, and this is where most people go wrong. The biggest mistake I see cat owners make is deciding on night 1 that this is a behavior problem. A cry that is brand new in a cat who never used to do it, or a cry that has suddenly gotten louder or longer, is a medical sign until your vet says otherwise. The feline health specialists at Cornell put it beautifully. Do not chalk up health or behavior changes, which are often gradual, to old age. Meowing more often sits on their list of the changes owners notice in aging cats, and it is on that list for a reason. Here is the cat part. Your cat cannot tell you that her hip aches, that the room has gone blurry, that her heart is racing. She is built to hide pain, because in the wild, a cat who limps gets eaten. So the sound she makes at 4 in the morning, alone in a dark room, is often the only symptom you will ever be handed. So before you change a single thing, do this tonight. Take a notebook and keep it for 1 week. Every night, write down 3 things: the time the crying starts, how long it lasts, and where in the house she is standing. Then, in the margin, note anything else that has shifted: weight, appetite, thirst, litter box habits, whether she is bumping into things, whether she still turns when you say her name. That page is the most powerful thing you can carry into an exam room. It is what lets your vet find high blood pressure, pain, failing vision, or one of the thyroid and organ diseases they screen for in a restless, hyperactive, weight-losing older cat on the first visit instead of the third. And I have already built that page for you. It is my book, The Natural Cat Care Companion, the printable night crying log, plus every step of this masterclass written out. The link is in the description below, or point your phone at the code on your screen right now. Chapter 2: The Map She Lost. Number 4 is the shape of the day, and here is the mind-blowing science. Once you understand this, the crying stops sounding like defiance and starts sounding like a question. A cat does not read a clock. A cat reads a pattern. Breakfast, sun on the carpet, the sound of your car, dinner, the television, lights out. That repeating shape is how your cat knows the world is still the world. In an aging brain, that map gets harder to hold. Veterinary guidelines on senior cats describe it plainly. Aging cats often show excessive vocalization, changes in how they interact with you, changes in when they are active, and accidents outside the box. When the map slips, she starts asking out loud whether anyone is still there. And at 2 in the morning, a dark, silent house gives her nothing to answer with. Imagine waking in an unfamiliar hotel room in total darkness, not certain what city you are in or whether anyone came with you. You would call out too. Let that sink in, because your cat is doing exactly that with the only voice she has. So rebuild the shape. Feed at the same times, inside the same 15 minutes, every single day. Play at the same time, turn the lights out at the same time. Write the schedule on a sheet of paper and stick it to the fridge so your partner, your kids, and your house guests all run the day identically. Cornell says it in 6 words: sticking to normal routines reassures them. Chapter 3, The Shortcut That Backfires. Number 3 is the hunt before bed. But before I give it to you, please hear this vet warning because here's what the internet doesn't want you to know about the shortcut you will be offered around night 9. Exhausted, you will read a comment telling you to give your crying cat something from your own medicine cabinet or to grab a general calming sedative off a pet store shelf. Do not do it. Never give a cat any human medication without your own vet handing you the drug, the dose, and the interval. This channel has already covered how catastrophically wrong that goes in cats, whose livers process drugs completely differently from ours. And understand the deeper problem: a cat crying because of pain, high blood pressure, or thyroid disease does not need to be sedated. She needs the disease found and treated. If she is crying and you can suddenly feel the ridge of her spine, or she has started hiding from you, stop looking for a home fix and call your vet this week. Sedating her only turns the volume down on the one alarm you have. Now, the real step 3, and it is free. Your cat is a hunter running on a hunter's schedule, and hunters are wired for short, explosive bursts at dawn and at dusk. A cat who dozes through the entire evening arrives at 3 in the morning with a completely full tank. So in the hour before you go to bed, get out a wand toy, feathers, or a fabric strip on a string, and run a real hunt. Not 30 seconds, 10 to 15 minutes. Drag it around corners, let it vanish behind the sofa, and let her actually catch it several times. Because a hunt with no capture just leaves her frustrated. You will know she is finished when the pounces slow down and she lies down between them. Then during the day, make her work for it. Take part of her daily ration, not extra food, part of what she already gets, and load it into food puzzles and rolling treat balls. Peer-reviewed feline behavior, workbacks foraging-style feeding as a real physical and emotional well-being tool for indoor cats. A cat who has to solve a puzzle for lunch is a cat who is awake at noon and asleep at 4. Chapter 4, The 20-Hour Nap. Number 2 on the countdown, and let me tell you a secret that almost nobody connects. The reason your cat is loud at 4 in the morning usually has nothing to do with 4 in the morning. It was decided at 2 in the afternoon. Think about what your senior cat's day actually looks like. You leave for work. The house goes quiet. She finds the warm spot on the bed, and she sleeps. Nothing moves, nothing changes. Nobody speaks to her, and by the time you come home, she has banked 8 or 9 hours of unspent energy on top of the sleep she genuinely needed. You have dinner, you watch something, you go to bed, and then the tank finally opens, right at the hour her body was built for. So this is where you take the day back. 3 things, and none of them cost money. First, break up the daytime sleep. Set your own reminder for 2 short contact sessions while you are home in the daylight. 2 minutes each is plenty. A little brushing, a little talking, a toy dragged past her. You are not being cruel, you are shifting her clock. Second, give her a window with something happening in it. Open the blinds in the morning, put a folded blanket or a perch on the sill so she can see out at eye level. If you can, hang a seed tray or a sweat ball outside that glass. That is 15 minutes of quiet, riveted, tail-flicking attention that costs you nothing. Third, rotate her toys. Cats stop seeing a toy that never moves. Keep 3 out at a time. Put the rest in a drawer and swap them every Sunday so the floor is a slightly different world each week. Now listen to me very closely because I need you to know who this hits hardest. Veterinary guidelines call a cat senior at over 10 years of age. Past 12, joint disease is extremely common, found in as many as 74% of them. A sore cat sleeps in shorter, broken stretches, and a cat who wakes at 3 with an aching hip is a cat who calls out. Add a cat who has lost a companion animal or a person, a cat who has recently moved, a cat whose hearing or sight is fading, a cat who lives alone and is alone all day, and you have the exact profile of the animal crying at the bottom of your stairs. It is not stubbornness. It is a body and a brain that are changing. Every one of those cats deserves a plan instead of a closed bedroom door. And that brings us to number 1, the single change that ends more 4 a.m. screaming than everything else on this list combined. It is not a supplement, it is not a sedative, and the whole thing costs less than 1 bag of food. It takes about 90 seconds to set up, and you will start hearing the difference inside 2 weeks. Do not skip it because it is number 1 for a reason. Chapter 5, The 4 a.m. Contract. If you saw the thumbnail of this video, the clock reading 4 a.m. and the one change, This is exactly what I meant. Number 1, move your cat's last meal of the day to lights out and put the pre-dawn portion on a cheap timed automatic feeder. And hear this clearly, the bedtime meal and the food in that feeder are carved out of the ration she already eats. You are not adding calories on top, you are moving them. Weigh out the whole day's food in the morning and hold back 2 small portions. Here is why it works. A cat's natural cycle is hunt, eat, groom, sleep, and she is wired to be most active at dawn and dusk. A cat whose bowl emptied at 6 in the evening is genuinely hungry by 4 in the morning. And here's the part that stings. Every time you get up to feed her, or even to shush her, the crying just got paid. So tomorrow night, it will be louder and it will start earlier. Feeding on a clock breaks that loop. Serve portion 1 as the very last thing before you turn out the light, right after the play session, so the night runs hunt, eat, groom, sleep. Then set the feeder to drop portion 2 about 30 to 60 minutes before the hour your log says the crying normally starts. The food arrives and you never move. Look for a basic timer feeder with a lid a paw cannot pry open and set it in the room where she does her calling, not beside your bed. Within a week or 2, most owners tell me the cry comes later and it gets shorter. One honest boundary. This is a routine and behavior fix. It does not treat pain, an aging brain, or thyroid disease. That is exactly why Chapter 1 came first. Now we stack the last 2 chapters on top of that reward, and this is the climax of the whole plan. Skip this, and everything above was wasted. I mean that literally. If you skip this, everything above was wasted, because the feeding change only holds when these 2 sit on top of it. Chapter 6. The yowl you keep paying for. This is the hardest thing I will ask of you. From tonight, while your cat is crying, she gets nothing. No talking, no shushing, no petting, no treats, no food, no getting up, and no eye contact. Because to a cat, an annoyed human standing in the hallway at 3 in the morning is still a human who showed up. Wait for a gap. The moment she has been quiet for a few seconds, that is when she gets you. Come out, praise her, love on her. And I will be honest with you. For the first 3 to 5 nights, it will get worse. Louder, longer, more creative. That is not failure. That is exactly what happens when a behavior that has always worked suddenly stops working. And if you cave on night 4, you have not gone back to square one. You have taught her that the price went up, and next time she will hold that note twice as long. Chapter 7. The room she cannot see. An older cat calling into a pitch-black room is often a cat who cannot see it anymore. So put a cheap nightlight in the hallway and one near her bed. Move a litter box and a water bowl onto the same floor she sleeps on, and choose a box with low sides she does not have to climb, because aging cats are more prone to arthritis and can have less control over their bladder and bowels, and a cat who cannot reach a box in time will tell you about it at 4 in the morning. Put warm, soft bedding in the spot she already chooses, not the spot you wish she would choose, and do not rearrange furniture at night. A cat with fading eyes navigates by memory, and moving the armchair is like moving the walls. Wow, that is an enormous amount to take in. So here is the rule. Do not start all 5 at once. Day 1 is the log and the phone call to your vet, nothing else. Once you have that, the routine reset and the bedtime meal go in together, and they stay permanent. The timed feeder comes next. Set it for whenever works, then move it 15 minutes earlier each week until it lands exactly where you want it. The evening hunt becomes a nightly 10 to 15 minute habit, not a one-off. And the ignore the crying rule only works if every single person in that house does it the same way every night, for at least 2 weeks. Every morning when you weigh out the day's food, do 3 things. Pull out the bedtime portion, load the feeder, and tip 1 scoop into a puzzle. Split it, load it, hide it. 10 extra seconds a day, and your nights belong to you again. Please hear this second vet warning because it matters more than anything else I have said. A cry that appears suddenly in a cat who never did it, or a cry that comes with weight loss, a change in thirst or appetite, hiding, disorientation, or bumping into furniture is not a behavior problem, and it is never wait and see. That is a same-week visit. And a cat, especially a male cat, crying inside the litter box with little or no urine coming out is an emergency that same day. Cornell recommends 6-month checkups for geriatric cats. Book them. I know how heavy this feels when you are running on 4 hours of sleep, but look at what you have now. A log, a routine, a hunt before bed, a day with something in it, a meal at lights out, and a machine that feeds her while you sleep. That is a plan, and plans are what fix nights like these. You are not a bad cat parent. You are the person she calls for in the dark, and your cat relies on you to be her hero. She is so lucky to have you. Now do me a favor and talk to me down in the comments. Tell me your cat's name, how old she is, what breed she is, or what she looks like. I have a soft spot for the tortoise shells. And what time exactly the crying starts at your house. Then tell me which step you are starting tonight. I read every single comment and I will be down there. And if this gave you hope tonight, hit the like button. It is the single thing that pushes this video to the next exhausted person lying awake at 4 in the morning, wondering what is wrong with their cat. Subscribe so you do not miss the next one. My book, The Natural Cat Care Companion, is linked in the description and in the pinned comment. Tonight, before the lights go out, give that old cat a soft scratch behind the ears from Dr. Sarah Lane. Sleep well, both of you. I will see you in the next video.